What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new and exciting episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by the household, which is, well, some here, some remote. We got Amanda in New York, Allie's in her home in St. Paul, our lovely pop culture correspondent, and my fiance, Natalie Joy. And Justin is running the controls today. And our special guest, the one, the only, returning to the show, Wells Adams.
Yeah, the crowd goes crazy.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I feel like I was just here. So
Not too long ago.
Yeah, so I feel
like
very honored.
Prior to
Paradise.
Paradise.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I should come on when Paradise is actually on. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Come the fuck back, man. Like, friend of show and friend of
That's
show.
right.
Yeah, so you can come on more, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone loves it when you're here. Especially
better.
me. Especially me. What's new?
I've been on a wedding gauntlet, and I'm so tired of having friends. We're gonna go to, I think, 11 weddings this year. I don't know.
Is ours one of them? Are you gonna make it?
Yes, but I'm not even counting your guys's because we just got that save the date.
So this is calendar year?
Yeah, calendar year.
2023.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've got another one this weekend, and then another one in a week after that. And I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't even like 11 people, let alone 22 people.
See?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's
Like,
so true.
that's a benefit, babe, of not having as many friends
Yeah,
as well.
Well, I'm cutting people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mari and Kenny just got married. In,
Did you go to that? No.
No, but they invited us to it, and it was in Puerto Rico. And I'd never been to Puerto Rico. So there was a part of me that was like, I got to go to this. I want to see.
Yeah. I've never been to Puerto Rico as well.
Yeah, and it's, it's American. So you don't even have to have your passport to go there.
You don't even need your passport?
I don't think so.
No.
Just a driver's license?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but anyways, I didn't go to that. But yeah, everything's been great. And hanging out. The strike's over. So that's great.
Talk about your favorite movies?
Yeah.
It's great for
Let me tell you about Barbie.
You can send your wife back to work now.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, get a little tight over there at the Addams household. We're having a budget over there.
No more ramen noodles.
Yeah. But it's also weird too, because I'm SAG as well. And so, not that it really matters, but it's nice that like things might be getting going again. But it's weird because in Hollywood, everything shuts down during the holidays.
Yeah.
Like nothing gets done in November and December. So this thing couldn't have ended at a worse time because it's like, no one's going to make anything.
It was a slow
Right.
time.
So it's like, we'll see you in March, everybody.
So it's a good time to be able to talk about my movie that came out right when the strike started.
You
Well-
have a movie?
It's called The List.
So you
Yeah.
play yourself.
I play myself.
So what's on the list? Who's on the list? Is it a rom-com?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I think it is.
yeah. There we go.
This is what I think it is. I think it's a rom-com. And I think that the protagonist,
Mhm.
a young, very attractive lady, before she gets married, she has to go and meet up with everyone that was on her list
Ooh.
and hook up with them before she can finally settle down. And Nick is one of those people that's on her list.
Close.
Okay.
It's pretty close.
Yes.
Yeah. It's starring Halston Sage.
Cool.
And I think she gets broken up with.
Okay.
And she is trying to like hook up with like her celebrity list.
Yeah, it's like this person's on my list, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
And then it's
yeah.
like, well, who's on your list? And then look,
She doesn't
there's
have a
Nick
list.
at a bar.
And
Yeah.
she like runs into me like the
That's
guy
Nick
from The
Viall.
Bachelor.
What number on the list do you think you were?
I don't think I'm on the list. I'm
Oh.
like I was a celebrity sighting at
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bar, and I was as good of as an option as any.
Did you have to do an on-screen kiss?
No.
Oh.
After her fiance sleeps with a celebrity on his free pass list, Abby Myers, with nothing but 5 names and a fantasy shared by millions, sets out for Los Angeles to sleep with someone from hers.
Wow. It's a great movie.
Who's on your list?
Nellie Joy.
Well, I know, but like you can have a celebrity.
Yeah.
Who's on? What about you?
I don't really have one.
Yes, you do.
I really don't.
Okay, Natalie, who's on your
Steve
list?
Harvey.
No, you do. Steve Harvey. No, he is definitely
Really?
on my list. Yeah.
It's true.
Have you ever been to a taping of?
No, I would. That's like a dream of mine.
It's so funny because I did it twice.
Oh.
I've done it 0 times.
Really?
We were supposed to do it together that
Yeah.
one time.
I won Fast Money once. But but also one of the questions was 0 to 10. How good are you at driving or something? And I said
Okay.
0. And Steve Harvey's like, that wasn't even one of the options. It was 1 to 10.
Oh.
So I got 0 points for that. But Steve Harvey's amazing. So in commercial breaks, he does stand up,
Yeah.
and on the ticket it says like, this is an adult show. Do not bring kids, because he does like graphic,
Does he?
really dirty jokes during the commercial break. It's really, really fun.
Oh my gosh, we have to go.
Well, someday maybe they'll.
If we
invite us
can't get
back.
on, we just need to go sit in the audience, you know?
We were supposed to do it with the Kardashians.
Oh, that's
Kardashians?
right.
We got bumped for Kanye.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Steve Harvey's on your list. This
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Who else?
You know, just like Brad Pitt, like the typical,
Yeah.
like obviously.
Brad
but-
Pitt's also on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Who's on your list?
Like back in the day,
Okay.
it's funny because I have a total type, but it was Mila Kunis,
Yeah.
Very much a type.
Natalie Portman.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like tiny
little
little
brunettes.
people.
Tiny little
yeah.
And I honestly think like season 1 and 2 and 3 of Modern Family, I was like, dude, the Haley chick's hot.
Haley
The
J.
Haley chicks out.
Yeah. Got it. Come on, you can be honest.
Well, Selma Hayek back in the day was.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
By the way, so I just went to this Baby to Baby event,
Mhm.
and she was like the keynote speaker.
Oh. Still
You
got
don't need
it.
to say back in the day.
Still got
You
it.
need to say
Still
right now.
got it.
Good for her.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
hot.
Yeah.
Salma Hayek, that's all you got?
That was like
Back,
back. Yeah. That was,
Desperado.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I agree.
We should watch Desperado.
Okay, maybe I'll let you watch that on your own time.
Light some candles.
Yeah, I'll let you relive that moment alone.
Get some lotion and some tissues. It'll be fine.
Wait, which animated character is on your list? Like,
What?
what do you think is like the hottest cartoon?
Interesting.
Belle.
Yeah, Belle's a good one. Ariel's pretty hot. Oh, I can tell
Redhead.
you who. In Robin Hood, with the foxes, Maid Marian Fox is pretty hot.
Okay. Tinkerbell.
Tink is, yeah.
Like which Disney character would you fuck well?
Is that weird?
Kind of.
I didn't ask the question.
Anyway,
Cut all of this.
no. Taylor and Travis taking their next steps. Did you see that hot
Yeah.
make? Are you following this at all, Wells?
Of course, you can't like get away from it. I
No.
used to think it was not real.
It seems very real.
Yeah, well, I saw that video of like her coming off stage and
Running.
like, running into his arms.
Running into his arms.
So
Big
yeah.
ol' make out.
And then
Yeah.
ducking into the tent to continue that tongue action.
Yeah.
And there was like her dad kind of set it up.
What do
There
you
was
mean?
another video of like he was waiting inside of the tent with Pops, and her Pops kind of guided Travis outside of the tent. He's like, "You just kind of stand here. Why don't you?" It was like a very almost sweet moment of her dad being like, "She doesn't need to see me. You came all the way down. It's your bye week. Why don't you be the one to greet our queen?" And he kind of put him out on the platform by himself, and Dad went back into the tent so Travis could have his moment. Like everyone's all in. The families are all in. Everyone's all in. She's running to him. He's coming down on the bye week. It's
Have you ever met her or been around her?
Yeah.
She's very tall.
Yeah.
Like really, really tall. So this is like
perfect.
kind of the perfect
Yeah.
guy for, and if they have kids, they're gonna be
Athletes and musicians.
Yeah.
Just oozing with talent. Yeah.
Yeah, at first I was like, is this a publicity stunt? Or like, I'm not sure if I believe this. But now I'm into it now.
I know she's a pro, and I know, like, obviously, you never want to, like, become irrelevant, but does Taylor Swift at this point in her life need to fake an entire relationship?
No.
I don't.
One of the conspiracy theories I heard, which I thought was great, was that she went to the Jets game. I don't know if you remember that. And she brought like everyone, like Bradley Cooper and I don't know, Jared Leto, whoever else was there, Ryan Reynolds, I think. And the conspiracy theory was that she went to the Jets game because if you used to Google Taylor Swift and jet, it would show like how much she uses her airplane and like how it's like,
sure.
bad for the environment. And now if you Google it, it's
her at the game.
her at the game, which is probably not what happened, but also if it
Kind of
was
genius.
Yeah.
super Machiavellian, I love that. But like that also happened with like, Disney. There was this whole conspiracy theory that Walt Disney had frozen himself so he could possibly be like whatever, like put back
Brought
into a
back.
body when science got there. And so that's why that's why they made the movie Frozen, because now if you Google like Disney Frozen, that's what comes up.
What?
Yeah.
Huh.
That is insane.
Which
I haven't
I
heard either of
could
those.
totally believe that, because that story is based on whatever, old tale is, and it's not called Frozen. Like,
Right,
the original is not
yeah.
called Frozen.
But is it that bad to freeze yourself?
What, like against the law, or you mean just like, is it a bad look? Is it bad for your brand?
Yeah,
You're
what's
dead.
wrong with it?
Yeah.
Well, there's so much weird, cool Disney history. So, if you ever go to Disneyland, so my wife is like a Disney adult, which is like a real thing.
Mhm.
It's kind of terrifying.
Does
So-
she wish that you proposed at Disney?
No,
Okay.
no,
Not that
but
far.
But like when we go to Disneyland, she's like, there's shows y'all where all the hidden Mickeys are and stuff.
Okay.
And one of my favorite things is if you ever talk to anybody and ask for like directions, they point with two fingers to places, and that's because Walt was an avid smoker. And so he would always have a cigarette in his hand and he'd be pointing around. And so they've taken all those pictures of him like pointing and stuff, and they've edited out the cigarette.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Wow. Walt.
Do you wear Skims?
No, but they do like we promote them on our show.
Ours too.
So I heard that they've got guy stuff now.
It's great.
Really? You got it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Really fantastic underwear.
The thing is that they're like, you can choose whatever you want. And so Sarah's like, I want that. So I've never gotten to get it because she takes my promo code or whatever.
Do you have a rival? Do you have someone like you would hate, you don't like?
You don't have to name
You don't have to
them.
name them. Like it's
Um,
simple yes or no.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Do you?
So many. No.
Steve
So
Harvey.
many. Yeah. And if you may not know, but no, because a lot of Taylor Swift's fans are freaking out over Brittany Mahomes' Skims campaign that she dropped last week
Yeah.
with her husband Patrick
Yeah.
and her kids. And Taylor Swift fans are freaking out over it, and they're like crucifying Britney again. And I feel like people just need to back off, because how do we even know that she did this campaign after her and Taylor became friends? There's too many questions. Also, do we think Taylor even cares at this point?
So, okay, hold on. Let me see if I can wrap my brain around this. The Taylor Swift fans are angry
At Britney Mahomes.
at Brittany Mahomes because she's aligning with Kim Kardashian thing,
Yeah.
and Kanye did terrible things to Taylor.
Mhm.
Yes.
Effectively.
And Kim, wasn't super nice to Taylor as well. And this was how long ago? About 7 years ago-ish, when they had their big rivalry.
I think it was around, like 2016 when Kim originally posted the clip of Kanye having the phone conversation with Taylor. And then Kim tweeted, "It's National Snake Day," and then had all of her followers comment snakes on all of Taylor's stuff. She said she was a snake.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely bad, but I just feel like at this point, one, Taylor might be irritated, but like we, again, don't even know when Brittany Mahomes shot this. And two, let's just see if Taylor's mad first before we start like crucifying Brittany Mahomes.
Well, Taylor would never publicly say anything about.
No, but if she was that upset about it, she could distance herself. A friend of mine is good friends with Taylor, and I've asked her about like Brittany, and like Taylor really brought Brittany in. Like, so when they all met, I think Taylor kind of empathized with Brittany. If you don't know much about Brittany, she's been controversial mostly because of Patrick Mahomes' brother.
Yeah.
And she's almost gotten a lot of shrapnel almost in a way of like online attacks just because of his brother and all sorts of things. And I think she's just in a tough spot being, stuck in Kansas City and like having almost no privacy. You're married to Patrick Mahomes, the star of the NFL, in a small town, a small city like Kansas City. And I think Brittany really just empathized with her and almost brought her into the girl group. And I think that's why a lot of her fans are upset. But again, I just feel like Taylor's going to be friends with people who aren't necessarily diehard fans, right? Like she's going to be friends with people who she feels like are her equal. And maybe Brittany Mahomes didn't even know of this rivalry. Maybe she just got like a small talking to, like hey, like, I don't know, like no big deal, but like, yeah, it was kind of weird.
Also, okay, if it was an issue, I'd be like, hey, Taylor, they paid me $1 million. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how good friends you think we are.
Yeah.
You're not $1 million
Right?
friend.
That's another thing, too. It's just like, I don't think Taylor Swift is going to tell Brittany Mahomes to not,
Yeah.
make a little cash. And do we even know if Taylor and Kim are still rivals? Like, maybe they've made up. Maybe Kim has reached out behind the scenes and been like, yeah, sorry, I was just trying to be a good wife back in the day and I kind of lost my way and I was just kind of team Kanye back then. But obviously, Kim has separated herself from Kanye. So we have no idea. So before we start throwing grenades towards Brittany Mahomes, I think maybe we should just give her some grace and follow Taylor's lead.
I mean, I guess, but it's just like, it's definitely, a coincidence with just how close they are. And then
It's bad timing.
and the photo right next to the Skims ad is
Yeah.
like her with Taylor drinking champagne. And it's like,
I just think baby, how many times have, not to this degree, have something happened between us on the internet where we were like, oh, fuck, like a dumb accident, like some kind of post, some type of caption, that we didn't realize, and some audience member, like, oh my, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have posted things and regretted it because the internet jumped all over it. I'm just saying, like, do you think I think it was just an accident rather than Brittany Mahomes knew about it. You don't think so?
Maybe.
You seem to think that this is a bigger deal than we seem to think it is.
Yeah. Well, I just think that the stuff that Kim was involved in was just so nasty towards Taylor that it's like, it wasn't just like she said some shit about her at some interview, like for Us Weekly. She did some like pretty gnarly shit to her. So it's like, I don't know, a little messy. Did you see that Taylor's father was wearing a Chiefs lanyard?
I did see that.
At the game or at the concert. Yeah. So he's like besties with Travis.
He's fully embracing it. I mean, I just hope for both their sake they are deeply both in love, because this could only end badly for Travis if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, no one's been able to like break up with her and come out unscathed, right?
Yeah. And she seems super in love. The internet lost their mind yesterday watching Taylor run to Travis, and everyone's looked at her past relationships. Joe, her last boyfriend, was like hiding at one of his concerts. There's like these stats of like how many concerts Joe went to versus Travis. Travis has already went to 2 versus Joe's 1, and they dated for how many years? And just how great he's coming across, that if it doesn't work, I mean, it's great now, but there's a lot of pressure on this relationship all of a sudden for it to.
Yeah.
People are already calling for like engagements. People are suggesting that they're going to be engaged early next year. Maybe. At this point, like when you're, sometimes when you're in your early mid 30s and you've had a few relationships, when you meet the right person, you're like, fuck it. I know this is what I want. You dive right in. I just hope it works out. I think it will.
I think that's why it resonates with people so much, is because Taylor has been publicly in the dating trenches. And so it's like she's so much more, I think, deserving of a happy ending because you've seen her kind of go through that in a way that a lot of modern daters do.
No, Taylor is all of us.
Taylor is all of us.
Truly.
I wonder if, like, I talked to a Chiefs fan recently and I was like, do you love this or hate this? And they're like, I hate this.
Like a diehard Chiefs fan?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, it's just like, nothing good can come of this. Like, this is just going to be a distraction, yada, yada, yada.
But he's playing great.
Yeah.
Did you see he trademarked his, all right, now? He trademarked that.
I'm telling you, he's no idiot.
Yeah.
No. He's doing very well for himself.
He's going to be like the next John Cena. Watch. Like, he's going to be in movies and it's going to be a thing.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
You think he's a leading man?
I think he's like Cena or The Rock, where he could be leading man, but he's funny enough that he can be comic relief. And if you write well enough for him, like, he'll kill.
I mean, he's hosted SNL.
Yeah.
So he's got those acting chops.
Yeah, it's no secret, like in the industry, that's what he wants to go do, is like be in movies.
All right, moving on to some Bravo stuff. What is this? I'm seeing Carl Radke wasn't in cahoots with Summer House producers.
Of course he's not going to admit that.
How? Wait, what does that even make sense? So what? The producers just like caught wind that there might be a breakup and showed up at his door?
They wanted to capture a conversation after the fight so they could continue moving forward after things were left in a rocky place on Sunday.
Who leaked this?
A source.
A source.
Cast members don't decide when cameras go up. Producers would never be in cahoots against Lindsay, our source says.
If Carl called up and said, hey, I'm going to break up with Lindsay, do you guys want to film it? They would be like, thank you, please. Yes. When can we come? Do you think this is in response to our interview with Lindsay?
Gotta be.
People are commenting on our video saying, have Carl on the show.
Oh, we would love Carl on the show.
So,
I heard some stuff that Bravo wasn't too pleased with Lindsay's interview with us, which I'm surprised to hear. I mean, I'm not super surprised to hear. I'm disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I think Lindsay did Bravo a huge favor. Because think about Scandival. Like, how many podcasts, like Scandival did Howie Mandel's, Ariana did a podcast. We had many of the cast on to talk about the scandal. And all that did was create record ratings for Vanderpump. Like, not a single person who was going to watch the reunion on Vanderpump or who was planning on watching Summer House is not going to watch now because they listened to Lindsay or heard all the people on Vanderpump do podcasts. All it did was create more interest. It actually just took that story and catapulted it into mainstream media. And more people were talking about it, which is why Scandival became such a big storyline, because it grew outside of the bubble that is Bravo Nation. And so now that Lindsay's out there telling her story, literally millions of people heard her interview. And it got all this press and more people. Not a single person who was going to watch that episode of Carl breaking up with Lindsay is not going to not watch. And now that many more people are interested in. So I think
welcome.
I think Lindsay
Bravo.
should just say, you're welcome, Bravo. And Bravo maybe should just say, thank you. Also, now we get to see like how it unfolds. Like many people in Lindsay's cast have suggested that it will make sense when we watch this season. Now, like, is Lindsay, did she tell an accurate story versus what we're going to see? Now I'm that much more interested to watch to see, like, all right, well, does her story match up with what we watched and what's Carl going to say? It just creates more and more interest to get these conversations out there.
But it is a good point, though, because so often with reality TV, like, we talk so much about the edit, so to speak, and podcasts are kind of like the opportunity to speak in a completely different context where you get to almost respond to that and control your own narrative.
Yeah. So I don't know why I feel like these shows need to embrace getting these stories out into pop culture and having these conversations out, more, because it only creates more interest in their shows. Like Vanderpump was going the wrong direction before a story that everyone was interested in and couldn't talk enough about. And again, all it did was create record ratings for them. So they should just follow that playbook and, get more of the story out there. Wells, I got a question before you get into Bachelor.
Okay.
You said, I think maybe on a podcast or maybe your podcast.
On Hannah Brown's
podcast, that there's no such thing as a bad edit.
I said I don't really believe in that.
What does that mean?
Okay, we were really talking about like who should go on the show and who shouldn't go on the show. And what I was talking about was I think that you really shouldn't go on a show like that if you don't really know who you are, like if you're not super comfortable with like who you are as a person. Because what I tend to find is when someone doesn't really know who they are, or they haven't like kind of like emotionally evolved or matured to like be really comfortable with who they are, when they go on a show like that, they get really scared about how they're going to look. So they start pretending to be the thing that they think they're supposed to be. And then that just comes across as like super inauthentic. And I think the American public has been watching so much reality TV over the years that they can smell that out from a mile away. And then that comes across as villainous because they're not being true to themselves. That was kind of what I was saying about it. I mean, yes, of course, you can frankenbite a sound clip to make it seem like someone said something, or they can take a clip of like you getting up and looking like you're leaving in anger, but really you were going to the bathroom or something like that. Like I totally get that, but the like creating a villain out of nothing is, I think, a really hard thing to do, because at the end of the day, you do need to have the video physical evidence of it happening.
You think it's hard for the show to create a villain out of nothing?
Yeah, like it's.
Have you met Thomas? Becca?
Yeah, of course, and I loved him.
Yeah,
And yeah, he
was called a narcissist.
For sure. But here's the thing.
He was called a terrible person.
But he did say that stuff about like,
he said,
I thought about that I could become the Bachelor next. Which
he got asked a question by his castmates, and it was positioned and framed in a way that made him come across with the help of music. To make it seem like his intentions were to become the Bachelor, not to date Katie.
He said something that he shouldn't have said, even though maybe everyone's thinking.
No, I get all that, but
that's the thing. Like, yeah, of course, like with I guess sound and like editing around things, but he did say that thing, and then people were able to jump on that. And so that's what I'm saying is like, it wasn't that they were able to like frankenbite some audio of him saying that, but he never actually said it. And that was the genesis of his like villain edit, was that he was there for the wrong reasons because really he wanted to become the Bachelor.
Yeah, but which was just factually untrue. And the show made it seem like that was true, which is like the point of it. Like that's a bad edit.
Yeah, I think that like, you're taking what I'm saying out of context. What I was saying is like, listen, if you're going to go on the show, I really think it's important for you to know who you are, because there's a lot of people in there that like, they're like, listen, I'm going to say it this way because I think that that's going to look good on TV.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, that's...
I think you and I are 90% in agreement with this, because I agree with everything you're saying too. And no one has, well, I don't know, maybe no one, but I have been always very outspoken that I think the vast majority of the people who go on these types of shows like The Bachelor or Love is Blind conveniently will blame producers and the edit when they don't like how they come across.
Yeah.
And I would say most of the time, that's just a convenient excuse.
Yeah.
That being said, there have been people severely thrown under the bus and have been on the wrong side of a bad edit in an intense scene, so to speak, where they face the wrath of an audience unfairly.
Yeah. And the other way around, too. There have been people who have been made to look so much better than they really are.
I have gone on record to say I think there are more people are beneficiaries of a good edit than a bad edit, without question.
I would say that, too.
Yeah.
And I would say, like, to put a bow on it, also what I like about Paradise is for a lot of people who do get, like, bad edits or look bad, it generally is a redemption story for them. Like, they get to come in. Thomas is a great example of that. Like, he had this kind of great character arc of like being this bad guy and then like end up everyone falling in love with him vis-a-vis this relationship with Becca. But yeah, I agree with you. But that's not really what I was saying. What I was saying was I think it's important for you, before you expose yourself on a show like that, really, really know who you are and like what you stand for. Because if you don't know that, then you're going to watch it back and be like, that's not me. And then be like, I got edited badly. And that's what we were talking about.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Maybe the headline was,
of course,
I
got a bad edit.
You got a bad edit. There you go. Creating visual content is an essential part of what we do here at the Viall Files. And we get it done because we got Canva teams. And if you do not have Canva teams and you're running any type of creative team, then you are sorely missing out. Honestly, we found Canva teams and it has been easy to collaborate and design with my team, which makes the whole process so much more fun and creative.
Yeah, whether we're working on some social content or we're trying to create a presentation, there are so many elements for Canva teams that are all seamlessly integrated. And it's great because we're all on the same page. You don't want to waste time having to touch base with people constantly and seeing where people are at. Canva teams means we can all know exactly how other people's progress is. And it's just been such a time saver on the Viall Files.
Canva for Teams streamlines how we do social media too. We can plan, create, and share social media content directly to our channels from one place and even schedule posts ahead of time. Canva for Teams has video editors so that it's easy to use with tons of filters, animations, and transitions that will bring your group content to life. Canva for Teams enables you to take your presentations to the next level with professionally designed presentation templates. Plus, their remote control feature means you can visually connect and navigate slides from any device. Collaborate with Canva for Teams right now. You can get a free 45-day extended trial when you go to canva.me/VIALL. That's canva.me/VIALL for a free 45-day extended trial. That's canva.me/VIALL. Hey, all you wine enthusiasts out there, have you checked out First Leaf? Well, if you haven't, you are sorely missing out, because you could be getting such an insane variety of your favorite wines with First Leaf. First Leaf is the wine club that sends you a personalized shipment of bottles that are based on your unique palate right to your door. Allie and I love it. I know Allie's a big fan. She's a wine connoisseur herself. Honestly, everyone in the Viall Files household is benefiting from the varieties that First Leaf provides. All you have to do is go to First Leaf's website, answer a few questions about your likes and dislikes, and their team of experts will select a customized assortment of world-class wines based on your preferences.
Something I really appreciate is for wine, I know that I like Sauvignon Blanc, but when it comes to red wine, I don't really know what I like. I just know that there's some stuff I really enjoy and others I don't. I really appreciate how on First Leaf, I can answer a few questions, talk about some of the flavors I'm drawn to, and they will send recommendations that are personalized to my answers while also having me try stuff that I might not have been able to find on my own.
Find the wine you'll love this holiday season with First Leaf. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL to sign up, and you'll get your first 6 hand-curated bottles for just $44.95. That's tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL, tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL. That's tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL. Speaking of edits, tell us about Kat. You met her. You're in Paradise.
Yeah.
Is she as dangerous of a partner as she comes across? Because she comes across like she would be dangerous to date.
Yeah, I don't know if I think that she's like so villainous. But she is doing those things. Like she is Braden comes up with this term homie hopping, which is like, that's such a great term. And she does do that,
I don't mind her homie hopping. That's Paradise. In fact,
For sure.
I'm a little, what I don't like about this season is the fact that we're this far into the season and there's still a ton of homie hopping happening where it's just like, and it's so surprisingly accepted by the cast where everyone's like this, all of a sudden, like Rachel and Tanner, what? Where, huh?
Yeah.
Like, where is this? I'm not invested. This came out of nowhere. Like, what is going on here? We're too late in the season to try to wrap our brain around this relationship. That being said, like my biggest thing with Kat is like her reactiveness and just how quick she is to, use words like toxic men and narcissist when she's the one demonstrating that kind of behavior and that lack of self-awareness and reactiveness, I think is dangerous to date. I think if you are a reactive person who's quick to name call and have no self-awareness, like you shouldn't be in a relationship with someone. You're the toxic one and you're dangerous to date. And if I had a buddy who was liking someone who demonstrated the characteristic that Kat is demonstrating in the show, I would say you shouldn't. That's danger. You're asking for it.
It's a little harsh.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how I feel.
Listen, I think that she was into John Henry. Like it was well known. Or at least she'd come and told me that like I'm kind of into the diver. Like he's pretty hot. Like that, wasn't like kind of out of the blue or like spiteful or like it's the only guy left I can date.
I mean, he was on her
alternate
list.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Kat. I mean, as television, she's fantastic.
Both Olivia and Kat are so good as just like narrators of the show. And I will say this, like I wonder, because a lot of people go on those shows and they're able to have like self-reflection of like, okay, I can see it now. And I wonder if there are some things that Kat's like, I can see like there are some things I could do better.
Yeah.
Or like I'm contradicting myself, or like it's ironic that I'm saying this, I'm saying this and doing this,
Have you talked to any of the cast at all, like since filming? Like, is Kat someone you've communicated with at all? Do you know if she was like worried about how things would, like when she got done filming, did she have any awareness that this is how it was going to go?
Yeah, I think that some people are not super pumped with like how it's coming across, but like also it's not over yet. Like I think that, you got to see the forest for the trees, and everyone's story is going to evolve and change. And also like some of the best relationships that have come out of Paradise, they did have like really rough patches, and that makes you more invested in it, especially at the end with the relationships that come out of this season. So I would say like everyone just like chill out and keep watching the show. Like things are going to change. Your opinion might be different at the end than it is right now. But yeah, I her breakup with Tanner I thought was so amazing TV gold. It was it was like, first of all, Tanner comes at it with like the it's not me, it's you, which is like, never heard that in Paradise. That's amazing. Chef's kiss. And then she went into the, you can't dump me, I dump you.
Yeah.
It's like, this is an insane breakup.
Like if you ask Kat, I'd bet money on the fact that no one's ever broken up with her.
Yeah.
I think she said that.
Yeah. So anyways, I love this entire cast. I love everybody. There's no one person who I'm like, oh, they're annoying or whatever. I wish everyone the best. And it's amazing to me that we've gotten to a point where like the two most outspoken, like kind of polarizing figures are now going after the same guy. Like,
yeah.
I wanted to ask you about something. Amanda, can you call this back? It's that tweet that Avon tweeted about Olivia.
Okay, so what do you make of, remember when Avon's tweet, give a night one elimination some meaningless screen time and they start to think they can just say anything?
Ooh.
Yeah, that was an interesting tweet. You didn't see that?
And I don't really understand it.
So it seemed like Olivia was, I don't know, saying something.
Olivia was mad that Kylie was encouraging Kat to kiss John Henry.
Yeah.
After, this was last week's episode.
Okay.
After John Henry and Olivia, they had their little chat right beside them. Remember that?
Yeah.
And Kylie was talking to Kat and she's like, you just need to kiss him. Like, who cares? And so Olivia tweeted something negative about Kylie. And Avon said, you give a night one elimination some meaningless screen time and they start to think they can just say anything.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So Olivia said that.
No, Avon said that
to
about
protect
Olivia.
Kylie.
To protect Kylie. So Avon, top 3 on Rachel and Gabby's season.
Okay.
So a mainstay. And he is kind of mouthing off towards Olivia, who on what her respective season went home night one.
Yeah. And then she had that like amazing soundbite of like, well, he sent you home after he got to know you or something like that. The cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I find this tweet really interesting. In the sense that, well, I think Avon definitely takes the loss here. Like, I don't know what he was trying to say, but like at this point, it was like the fact that you tweeted it now, Olivia is one of the few stars of this respective season. So like, if you were going to tweet something like that, Avon, about Olivia, like a little too late.
Yeah.
Like, she's someone I'm tuning in to watch. Like, I am enjoying her. Avon, I'd forget you're on the show, buddy. Like, I could not care less about your relationship. I hope that you guys are in love, but I truly forget that they're on every time I see them on their screen. And Olivia, on the other hand, is a star. She's interesting. She's funny. She's got sound bites. Do I sometimes in the past like get frustrated with my Bachelor peers who have very different experiences, who may be on like a season of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette for one night or a week or 4 days of filming and then go on some other podcast and talk like they're experts of the franchise and say a bunch of shit that they don't know what they're talking about and have no context to what they're saying and act like they lived the same experience as someone who was in the top 4? Because someone who goes all the way to hometowns on that show has an incredibly different emotional experience. It is emotional, psychological warfare for the top 4 people, and anyone else on their respective seasons do not have that same experience. And it can be frustrating for the people who do have that experience to have a bunch of other people who were on the show act like they're experts of a situation they know nothing about. That being said, Olivia, again, is a star of Paradise. She's not a night oneer. She is someone who, I don't know if when she goes home on Paradise, but she is going to be thought of as a star of this season. So it just kind of comes across as petty and wrong with Avon saying it, especially given how like insignificant he is on this respective season.
So yeah, he's defending Kylie effectively, right? So that's
by being a bully.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's all an equal playing field. Like Olivia's been on enough episodes that I think that she has a leg to stand on. I don't know. Don't tweet. I don't. What are you doing? You're getting in trouble.
Who do you like more, Olivia or Avon?
I like them both equally.
Come on.
Honestly.
Who would you rather have a beer with?
Honestly, I don't have favorites because I'm not sure if I like. I'll tell you, like I love Braden. Like and Pilot Pete 2.0. I loved it. Like those are guys that like hung out at my bar for a very long time. I know Olivia and I know Avon, but they weren't like hanging around the bar a lot. So like my relationship with people is different just purely on like how much time I spent with them.
Okay.
What are your thoughts? What the hell happened with Becca?
I was gone by then, so like
you don't even know.
Yeah,
we've heard stories.
I don't know anything that happened. I know that I know what I saw,
right?
Which is that she was like, I want to leave or whatnot. But that was so late in the night that I was already out, and then the next morning it was like
Becca left last night.
Becca left, and like Braden gave his rose to Olivia, and I was like, wait, I feel like I missed so much.
Yeah.
We heard there was a mental health crisis of some kind with Becca.
No, I don't know anything about that. I don't know. I can't speak for her. But listen, I will say this though, like that show can be very stressful. And so I totally understand if you're like, my person isn't here, being like, I want to get out of here. There's no AC. Like I've been up all night, like doing a stupid rose ceremony. Like I'm in a different country. It's hot. I want to get out of here. Like, I totally get that of being like, this is too much. And like Braden's not my guy. So yeah, I don't know what happened, but I hope everyone's okay.
We do too.
Yeah.
What do you make of the like? I never thought I would defend Aaron, but I really feel for Aaron, that whole situation.
Yeah.
So basically the conclusion is Charity came down to spread an unverified rumor that she got a bunch of DMs, her family got some DMs. She told some people, including Kat, then it became a rumor on the beach, and then Aaron had to defend his character.
It was just bizarre how it was like, when Charity explains it, she's like, I finished a show, I like have this great respect for Aaron, we leave on great terms. And then I get home and I have all of these messages from this girl, and she's reaching out to my family and she's reaching out to my friends. And it's like, she sounds crazy. Like, why are we believing anything she says? This sounds nuts.
Yeah. But like Charity like starts a rumor and then comes down to like squash the rumor. And then you have Aaron thanking Charity at the end. I mean, like, how did that work out for Aaron? Like, why was he thanking Charity by the end of all that? Because to me, it was Charity's fault that he had to defend himself in the first place. I didn't quite understand that. And why are we talking about fucking Reddit on Paradise?
Oof.
Yeah.
Like, why are they?
I don't know. That was another one where I was very confused about what was going on. I think that the fatal flaw that Aaron made was not really having a concise story.
Yeah.
Because he starts like going and dates start getting weird. And then all of a sudden there's another girl involved. And it was like, whoa, man. Like you were just like, who, what, when, where, how, and why. And then like, that's it. Like,
but I get what he was trying to say. He was trying to say like, I couldn't have broken up with her, the girl that they were talking about, because I literally dated someone else in between breaking up with her and going on The Bachelorette. That made perfect sense to me.
Oh yeah, I agree. And it was weird too that like the whole thing got started and then Charity comes down and is like, but I know that's not your character. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, if that was the story all along, then
thanks for wasting our time.
Yeah. And like putting this poor guy through it for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, these rumors are dangerous, especially on this type of show. And I just think a lot of people have gone through some serious like mental health struggles as a result of like false rumors. And I don't get why Charity was playing into these types of rumors.
Yeah.
And why did Aaron have to why did Aaron have to thank Charity when it was all said and done? It seemed kind of fucked up.
They've got to stop with the exes like reaching out and believe, like that's just, it's been played so many times.
Like literally before we were ever on this show. It's like such a low-hanging fruit way to cause drama and
get their 15 minutes
and
of
you're
fame.
giving like people on the internet, like you're bringing them into the show and now you can just say whatever the fuck, you know?
I also feel like it's rarely true. Like was there ever a moment, maybe it was Jed? Was he like really the only one who like maybe
Jed,
had an
different.
actual...
But so many people, and they act like the people who date anyone who goes on the show as if they know the timeline of casting. You know, it's like if you break up with someone in a calendar year and they happen to go on a show, according to your ego, they broke up with you for the show because they couldn't have possibly broken up with you because they didn't like you or they didn't want to date you anymore. But it's much easier to say, I'm the victim and I got broken up with because, especially if you watch the show. I mean, if you watch the show and then you find out some guy or woman you dated is going on the show and they don't want to date you anymore, like you have this narrative written in your head that like, they broke up with you to go on the show and you have to speak out about it. And like the show gives it so much unnecessary oxygen.
Yeah. I was confused by the whole kind of thing. Like I liked when Hannah came down and did like got dirt on everyone just by asking questions.
Yeah.
I like that better than like Charity coming down and being like,
I heard this
or whatever, and just kind of, and it also was very just at this one guy.
Mhm.
Whereas when Hanny came down, it was blanket to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Wells, how do you feel about the truth box?
I liked it. I think it's a good way of allowing people to really say what they really felt like under the guise of anonymity. This is the first season, I think, it's just full of Gen Z. And it's one of the first seasons where I've felt like I was so much older than everyone there. And I was thinking about it in terms of their experience on this show. And this is an entire generation of people who've grown up curating, cultivating, and editing their own reality show on social media. So they know how they want to be perceived and looked at. Whereas like when we were on the show, like that wasn't a thing. People just went and said whatever they thought and weren't really like concerned about Instagram or Twitter or TikTok. But this is a different generation. And so with that, I think they're more heavily guarding what they want to say because they are very concerned about how it's going to look, which I totally understand. And it's actually quite honestly smart. But the truth of the matter is that if you aren't really honest down there in such a short period of time to hopefully get engaged at the end, there needs to be some hard truths told. And so this was a way for people, I think, to be able to do it without worrying about like, I'm going to look bad. And some people needed to hear some things, like I think one of the first truths that come out of Truth Box was like Tanner Kat's kind of playing you, right? And that ended up being, I think, showing Tanner, maybe this person isn't for me, and it might have been right,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think it's a good vehicle for getting some truths out there. And then also it helps with like, I mean, now this storyline's kind of over, but the Braden and Rachel of it all was like really sweet. Like everyone could kind of see that they were vibing and cute, but they weren't kind of like going for it. And then that gave them the allowance to be like, let's give the people what they want. And it gave Rachel and Braden like a really cute moment on TV that I really appreciated. So it's a very long-winded thing of like, I like it, but I wish that we could go back to like when we were on the show and people weren't as guarded. Yes, because I think that was a more honest kind of representation.
What's the tea or the story behind Davia and Tanner? It's like he broke up with Kat to date Davia. That seemed like it was going well, and then out of nowhere, there's a cocktail party. Rachel and Tanner have one conversation. It comes across as that basically Tanner upgraded from someone who didn't have a lot of screen time and not a lot of clout in Bachelor Nation to thinking, oh, well, I can date the Bachelorette and like align myself with a more, popular figure.
He was like, I've gotten over the two different eye colors. Now I can.
Yeah. He wouldn't shut up about her two different eye colors. And all of a sudden,
I was like, focus
I'm
on
used to it now.
any other part of her body.
She found her other contact, and then she had the same eye contact, eye color, and now it's like, yeah.
I honestly, that was very shocking to me. Like when that went down, I thought for sure he was picking, going to give his rose to Davia. So when I think I left the bar thinking, okay, this is where everyone's roses are going. I leave early because that one went late. That one went to like 4 or 5 in the morning. And then when I got to the bar the next day and people were filling me in, I was like, wait, what happened? Where's Davia? So I was I think as shocked as everyone else.
That was random.
That was random.
A part of me was kind of happy because I think with Rachel being a bachelorette in paradise, like I don't want to see her feeling like she's like, I don't know, like I didn't want to see her get sent home. That would feel like so much like kind of backtracking, from being the person who hands out the roses to not getting one. So even though it was a little random, it did feel like maybe it was just kind of like a way of maintaining Rachel's like status as this like awesome leading lady.
But I guess, like it's not a crime to go on the beaches of paradise and realize your person isn't there.
Yeah.
And I really empathize with Rachel because I think it's just a lot to go as a former lead. There's just a lot of pressure. Paradise is the structure of the show, certainly isn't The Bachelorette. Like, no one person is the focus, nor can they be. And Rachel, like, for all of her great qualities, isn't going to be someone who is going to demand a lot of screen time based off of her drama. That's not who Rachel is. She is a more poised and elegant, kind of refined person. And so, like, that doesn't, like, lead to a lot of screen time on Paradise. And at some point, I just think it would be okay for Rachel to say, my person's not here.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And because I just don't think, I don't think anyone's worth Rachel's time on the beach for reasons I've already discussed. But so I'm kind of at the point where I'm ready for Rachel to just kind of peace out on her own and not kind of play musical chairs with kind of all the guys on the beach. Like, I'm fine that she wants to keep trying, but my gut tells me her guy's not there, and I would think nothing less of her if she left on her own accord and kept her head held high rather than, try to find another spark with another guy. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think one of Rachel's biggest problems is that she's like too empathetic. Like, she's so concerned with like everyone else's happiness and journey and all that kind of stuff. And I remember having conversations with her at the bar, and I was like, it's really lovely that you're kind of so concerned and wanting the best for everyone. But I was like, you need to focus on like your situation. Don't get like too caught up in the weeds of like everyone else's stuff. And so I think that she's kind of done herself a little bit of a disservice and put herself kind of, I don't know, on the back foot because she was so concerned with like wanting to help everyone that she didn't really help herself. But I agree with you. I'm rooting for her, I think, the most out of anybody.
Is there a new kind of underwritten rule in Paradise where you have to go on a date if you get asked? Because I remember other seasons where someone would be like, no, I'm good. I'm going to focus on this. But it seems like everyone, when they get asked, almost has to say yes. Or is that just a sign that there's no strong connections on Paradise?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is no rule that you have to go on a date. I think that for the most part, people have seen the show enough that when someone like, hey, can I pull Aaron? And they go talk to Aaron, they might not show up, but Aaron's probably like, I'm not going to go on a date.
Right.
I'm totally into Eliza. So like, it's not even a possibility for the person with the date card to even attempt to ask somebody that they're going to say no to. I also think that's a mean-spirited thing to do to somebody, is to like set them up to fail. That's a very awkward thing of like, Aaron, will you go on a date with me? No. Oh, camera's on me. Ooh, that's not. I don't want that for anybody.
But I get what you're saying. I mean, everyone's having these conversations, even though sometimes they're probably showing a lot of conversations that happen that we don't get to see. So I'm guessing when someone gets asked, that person gave some inkling that they would say yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just wondering why these relationships aren't moving faster than other seasons.
I think your perception of time is different than reality. It's still pretty early in the show.
Okay, so
we're maybe like halfway through really filming.
I guess.
And I'll tell you what the difference is. It used to be that we did 2 hours Monday and Tuesday. So every week was a lot of time, whereas this is actually being drawn out. So
we're still in the feeling it out phase, even though
I think we're right at the precipice right now.
Okay.
I think we're now going to get to the people are coming in. There's not enough time for them, like that part,
sure.
and really solidifying those really strong relationships to get to the next level, which is like engagement or leaving together. Brandy was asking me this on my podcast, and I was like, I just think that time is different this season because we're not doing the Monday, Tuesday, 2 hours every day.
What's your read on Blake?
Super awesome guy. Really, really, like a really good human being, and very smart. You can see that he can see what's happening around him,
Yeah, he's always thinking.
Like I remember, and I give him a lot of credit for this. There was a fight going on, like an argument or whatever, and there wasn't a crew on it. And he was like, there's a fight happening. I don't know if you guys want to do anything. And that's when I was like, oh, you see how the sausage is being made, man. You're maybe too smart at this point.
Well, he's also been in
so many episodes. He gets it, but he is, he's like Rachel. Like I want so badly for him to find somebody because I do think. Like, he's such a good guy. He's so handsome. Like, the work he does with conservation, so cool. Like, he's got such a great story. He's Canadian, so of course he's nice. So,
do you think he's almost too nice for his own good in the dating department?
Yeah, maybe. It's funny because he found the other way too nice
really
person.
Nice. Yeah, I was about to say that.
Like, there needs to be a little bit of yin and yang, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I love Jess. I think that Jess's issue is that she's so young and she's probably not ready for.
How old is she?
I think she's 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is she more just
she's just so like
young
angelic.
For her age?
Not even that. Like she's too pure. She's too she's like a cherub.
A cherub?
A cherub, like a little baby angel.
Never heard of that. A cherub?
They're tattooed on your body. What do you mean you've never heard of that?
I didn't know they're called cherubs.
Yeah. Yes.
I call them little baby
you
angels.
Have like 3 tattooed on you.
Yeah, cherub.
Cherub.
Yeah.
Why are they called cherubs?
I don't know. I can't get into the etymology of it all, but I know that's what she is.
Etymology. What do you read? You just reading words the day dictionaries over the weekend? What the fuck?
Anthony Stubbs from Terrorism.
Okay, big words, Wells Adams.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, please.
Cherub is not a big word.
Fuck.
Am I the idiot? Did you know what a cherub was, Amanda, Allie?
I did from art history classes. I feel like in a lot of drawings from like the Renaissance and then like I feel like Cherub City for me.
You
I just know it from life. Okay. I don't think you need to take a class. You're just a normal human being.
I never took a class.
Nick's the dum-dum.
I feel like they're biblical.
Yeah, it's very biblical.
Cherub.
So not everybody's necessarily living life.
All right, no, I'm fucking stupid. Like, we got that.
It's
so
just
hard
the fact that they're tattooed on you.
Yeah, that's great, guys.
I just don't call them that. Like, I know.
Now.
Baby angels. He goes into the tattoo shop.
Can I have a little baby angel?
Tattoo a little baby angel on me. A little naked baby angel.
My cherub has tattoos.
It does.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, ironic.
Okay.
So I like to be on the go. You get sweaty in airports, you get sweaty on the go. And that's why I love discovering not only Lumi, but Lumi's starter pack, because I was able to try out multiple of their products and just try new things that I had never tried before, like a cream deodorant and they're like mini body wash. But what really stood out to me was their deodorant wipes. I love them because I can just keep them in my purse or I can keep them in my bathroom and you can just grab a quick wipe if you're ever sweaty. Lumi is the best because you can seriously use it anywhere on your body. A lot of people just think of armpits. It's not just that. You got pits, you got under boobs, you got thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, literally anywhere, even your feet. So head to toe, anywhere you're sweating, anywhere you want to feel fresh, smell fresh, Lumi's got you.
Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream, tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer to our listeners, new customers get $5 off a Lumi starter pack with code VIALL at lumideodorant.com. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack when you visit lumideodorant.com and use code VIALL. That's lumideodorant.com, code VIALL. Well, the holidays are approaching, and chances are you are going to be looking for some pretty great gifts for your loved ones in your life. So you need to check out Uncommon Goods, because if you are shopping for people they feel like they have everything they need and they're hard to shop for because, they just buy the things that they want and it's just like hard to get them something unique, you got to check out Uncommon Goods. Uncommon Goods is your secret weapon to finding that thoughtful, unique gift. Uncommon Goods is here to make your holiday shopping stress-free by scouring the globe for the most remarkable and truly unique gifts for everyone on your list. Whether you're shopping for your Secret Santa or your entire family, Uncommon Goods knows exactly what they want. Here are a few of my favorite gifts that I found on their website.
I got a phone sanitizer, so that way while I sleep, my phone can charge and be germ-free. With gifts, it's so important to be able to give something that is specific to the person to make them feel known and appreciative. That's why Uncommon Goods is the perfect place to go this holiday season.
To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/VIALL. That's uncommongoods.com/VIALL for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary.
Truly, Golden Bachelor.
Oh, so good.
I mean, Faith and
Next
Gary,
Bachelor.
Could you believe that? I could not believe that.
I was shocked. I thought Faith was going to win.
First of all,
truly did
this
too.
guy's going to have a heart attack on TV. Like, I am so nervous for him. Like, that rose ceremony, he had to go outside. He, like, bends over. I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh, God.
Do we need to get the defibrillator paddles
I
out?
hope
Like,
he's eating his grape nuts. Yeah.
oh, man, this poor guy, he is so good at being the Bachelor.
He really is.
Like, I am in awe of, I'm sure there are things that, like, producers are giving him, like the little cute things he's doing, but everything he says is the right thing. I am blown away with how good he is at this. And also, like, kind of how they pick the Bachelor, the Bachelorette, people who are very good at being on TV from the previous season. This man has never done this, and he's knocking it out of the park. But I could not believe the Faith thing. My mom called me. She was like, I think he's choosing Faith. And I was like,
I thought he was choosing Faith too.
Yeah.
yeah. And I could not believe, because he doesn't tell Teresa that he loves her, but he tells the other two.
Yeah. Also, you know why the scene that made me realize that he, to your point, is an excellent Bachelor.
Yeah.
Like, and not to take anything away from the guy he is, and but there is a role they have to play, and it was when they showed the breakup between him and Joan. So they brought Joan on the hot seat. They played that breakup, and they talked about how Gary was just like, I woke up dancing. Maybe he woke up dancing. I don't know. But what we do know now, having this season played out, is Gary is very much into brunettes. So he was never going to pick Joan. And
He's like a Wells.
even though despite, his love for brunettes and knowing he was never going to pick Joan, he made Joan feel like he might have picked her, and he made the audience feel like there was really something there to say goodbye to. And that is the role of the Bachelor, to kind of lean into that a little bit more than the truth might be.
I kind of disagree. I think he really liked her. Like that.
I think he really liked all of them.
Yeah.
But he's never going to pick Joan.
Okay, I have a question for you, though, because you do know, like, I was never asked to be the Bachelor or whatever. Did you think that Joan was being set up in that men tell all, or whatever it was, the tell all, to be the Golden Bachelorette?
I think anyone who gets a hot seat on a tell-all is someone that the producers are at least considering.
Yeah.
I mean, I
got a hot seat and they cut it. That's how I knew I was out of the running.
No, but they were at least considering it. Like, no one gets a hot seat, and you may not. It might be someone. I think every season they pretty much know who their person is going to be. Yeah. Sometimes things happen. But they always have, they have contingencies. They always have backups, because shit does happen. So the hot seat at a tell-all is for that. I mean, that's why they have it, to kind of get a pulse of the audience, the cheers and things like that. How do people react? Their ability to kind of be in that kind of hot seat environment is like a little bit of a preview of what it's like to be the lead. So
also, I was truly invested in this woman's story. Like, when that happened, that's why I was saying, like, this is so great, because when it comes down to, like, really, and I've talked about this a lot, but, like, storytelling really is about showing the stakes of what this journey is for these people. And it's one thing when you're on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, and you're like a 25-year-old personal trainer. Like, this isn't your last shot at love. This isn't even your last shot at love, like, this week. But for these people who have these so compelling stories of, like, my husband passed, my wife passed, I think this might be my last opportunity at love. My daughter is having trouble with this baby. Like, it's such, like, tangible, good story to dig into. And after that episode, I, like, went and found her on Instagram, and I wanted to be like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
How's the kid? Like, what's going on? And I think that's a hallmark of really good storytelling. And that's why I was looking at her. I saw my wife said something to the effect of, like, every past Bachelorette has worn black in the hot seat, and she's wearing Bachelorette black, and I was like, whoa, I didn't even know that. Is that a thing? And I was like, does it look like her hair is professionally done? Like, did Carrie pick out this outfit? I started doing that thing, thinking like, are we about to announce the Golden Bachelorette? Because it's an inevitability. It's coming, right? Like they're going to do the show.
Assume so. I think their only challenge is going to be finding the right men.
Yeah.
And all the more reasons why they're going to need the contingencies is because these golden ladies, like some of them might, like Joan might just be like, I don't want to, it's a lot to ask for these people to, they can't just go home.
Yeah.
Like Joan left. They're contractually obligated to fill a certain role. And so Faith, Joan, any other of these women that they might be considering, they're going to have to need some options because at the last minute, someone might say, I don't want to do this. So I think for sure, Joan, Faith is definitely, I think if Faith wants it, they got to pick Faith. I don't know. I'm so invested. It was so heartbreaking, her and Gary's moment. Yeah. And what was so heartbreaking about that moment, because unlike many other seasons where especially the top three, the lead and that person, they have to kind of play into like this relationship that maybe even in real time never really had a chance. Yeah. But obviously for the audience, they almost have to play in that maybe there's still some like unresolved feelings. But like Gary and Joan, like I'm 100% convinced that Gary has thought of Faith probably every day since he sent her home. Because to me, even Faith kind of alluded to the fact that like I was all in. I kind of put all the logistics to the side where it seemed like Gary sent Faith home more out of pragmatic decisions and practicality than anything at all. It felt like he had something special with Faith, that they had an unspoken bond, this unspoken connection. But Gary was just like, you want to stay in Wyoming, I'm in Indiana. Like, that's just not a life that realistically I think I can live. And as much as I think you're great, I feel like he sent Faith home more based off of that for how he felt about her. And I think he's thought about Faith every goddamn day since, and really at times misses her. And I've never felt that type of energy between a lead and someone they sent home like I have with Gary and Faith.
I'm going to ask you this question. You were the Bachelor. There was a part of me that was like, I wonder if he's doing this now so the decision he has to make at the end is easier. Like sending home whoever your second place person is earlier than having to do it at the end. And I wonder if like that's like a suggestion, like, hey, listen, if it's really between these two, like you should do this earlier.
It might be easier, yeah.
I don't think he was doing it for himself.
Okay.
I think if anything, he was doing it for Faith. But at the same time, regardless of Teresa and Gary's like, if we're assuming he's going to pick Leslie, then like Teresa's just as all in. Teresa more than anyone has been like, I'm going to end up with Gary. So like Teresa's going to be just as heartbroken. So it's kind of like you're splitting hairs. Like whose heart do you break more or less?
But he didn't say I love you to Teresa. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
if Faith and Leslie were like his top two, but he, I think, is leaning more towards Leslie, it was like, go ahead and...
I think you're protecting Faith a little bit more, but at the expense of hurting Teresa or Leslie.
Yeah.
So like, there's no win in that scenario. Yeah. Like you might be he might be caring a little bit more about Faith's feelings because of the intensity, because maybe he said, I love you, and realized I can't end up with her because of, whatever his reasons were. And it was more about knowing he wasn't going to pick Faith because of that decision. So a little bit, but at the end of the day, hearts are going to be broken.
Yeah.
And it's going to get messy at that point. That more than anything, it might have been a conversation with producers where it got down to like who his final choice is going to be. He probably knows his final choice. He probably told producers, and it's like, all right, if you're not going to pick Faith, we would like Faith to be at the tell-all because I think she has a real chance of being our next Bachelorette. So it would be very nice of you to send her home now so we can give her that opportunity, because I don't think they're considering Teresa, but I could be wrong. That's just from a viewer standpoint.
Do you know who wins? I don't know.
No, I have no idea. I thought Faith was going to win. So
yeah. Okay.
I'm now going to assume Leslie.
I've been saying Leslie from the jump.
Yeah.
So I got to hold firm.
If it's Teresa, if I'm Gary and Teresa, I'd be kind of mad because like they haven't really given her an edit or their relationship an edit that makes us excited about them.
It was good in the beginning.
It was fine in the beginning, but ever since then, Teresa's been edited as this almost delusional, like more in love with Gary than Gary is with her.
Always getting the last rose.
Yeah,
I was shocked when Teresa got the rose over Ellen even. So this is the second week in a row where I've been like, wow, Teresa's going so much further than I thought.
Yeah, I just don't like the edit Teresa's getting given how far she went. And I will hate it if she's the one who ends up with Gary because they really didn't make this relationship anything worth rooting for at this point. But Leslie and Faith for sure, because he seems truly like smitten by those two women.
From the tease for next week, it does look like he does tell Teresa that he loves her. So
kind of has to at that point. I mean, the producer would be like, "Hey, Gary, I don't know if you remember, but
it's a bad look.
It's you need to kind of say this."
But he tells Leslie, "I think you're my girl."
I know.
So
yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
And Natalie,
this poor guy. I just hope he survives.
Natalie rightfully suggested that maybe that's usually they kind of give you a little misdirect.
Totally. Yeah.
You know.
Ooh.
But
look over here, not over here.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but. Faith, number one choice, Bachelorette. Joan would be a great option. I mean, there's a lot of great. I think April would be fantastic.
Yeah,
she's fascinating. I think that would be the most entertaining.
I'm rooting for Joan, only because like she's the one person who I was like, I must find her on the internet. I must check in on this. So then I was like, oh, I really care. I really, really am invested in this person.
Yeah,
we want to get Natalie's mom on next season.
My mom wants to do it too.
Can we have Mrs. Wells and Mrs.
Natalie?
Donna?
Donna and Lisa.
Dude,
You don't want your mom on.
She wanted to do this. Like, I think all her friends wanted me to get her on, and I was like, let's just see how this plays out. I don't know what this is going to look like. But
now it's America. Your mom could be America's next sweetheart.
I know. Or she could be like the Zip It lady. And I don't
you don't want her to be the Zip It lady?
I think the only way that I would allow this is if I'm allowed to be there every single day in the interview room.
Yeah.
Be like, Mom, nope, you're not saying
Can't say that.
We're not going to say that.
Zip it.
Zip it, Donna.
You're going to tell your mom to zip it.
Yeah. Maybe the only way I'm doing is if I'm bartending there every single day and making sure I'm taking care of my mom.
I think Natalie's mom would do very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've met your mom. She's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's hot. She's sweet. She's a single mother who raised 4 kids on her own.
Yeah.
Essentially, truly. She's been single for a long time. You know, she's dealt with some not so great dudes. She's a nice little story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lindsay Wiles, where you at?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see who the next. I wonder if we'll find out who the next Golden Bachelor is not before we start casting, right?
I would assume they'll do it just like they do the other show.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna fall in love with some guy in the Golden Bachelorette, and then he's gonna become, and then it's just gonna be the machine will keep on churning.
So she'll have to watch Golden Bachelorette and be like,
she's gonna have to say yes before she knows who the next lead is.
That's the tough thing.
Yeah, it's because you want to know.
She doesn't have to. Like, she's going on for. It's not about falling in love with whoever the lead is. It's about going on and saying yes to a new adventure.
And what all these women said, friendships
and connections, and just the I love the whole who's our Kris Jenner lookalike? Susan. I loved how Susan was just like really speaking to her peers, like in the audience, like other elderly senior citizens, where she was like, just get the fuck back up, get out there, be active. And that is like really sage advice. I mean, even at our age, Wells, like we have friends, like if you're one of those people, you get married in your early 20s, you have some kids, and you're just, you kind of talk out loud like, oh, I'm just like old and all. And I think we joke at a certain age of our life where we talk like we're older than we are because it almost sounds fun. But there's something about that where your body tells you, oh, it's like, you're old and worthless. Well, we're just going to shut it down.
Yeah.
Like your body responds to how your brain kind of sees the world. And the more active you are, the more you get out there, the more you live life like you have something to live for. And the more active you are, the more fulfilling and the longer life you're going to have. And I think a lot of us who get older, and certainly people who are older ages, like remember that. And like for the ones who say, get back up, like get out there, take a walk, make connections, like you can have a drastic change in how your life is, especially as you get older. And I thought that was so beautiful how she articulated that. And I truly think that this show, in a lot of ways, is not only maybe not saving lives, but extending them. And in some ways, actually saving lives and really giving people a new sense of purpose and a willingness to get out there and take risks. And I think that's so fucking beautiful.
My grandmother told me before she passed, she was sitting in the hospital and she was like, she was 89, my grandfather's 94, and she was like, they're both, I mean, she passed away from cancer, but she like mentally they're both there, they haven't like lost their minds, they've no dementia, no Alzheimer's, no nothing. And he was pretty much still moving around. She'd like push him in a wheelchair if they needed to go long places, but she was saying that a doctor came in and was like, what have you done in your life, like how are you so great at your age? And she was like, I think it's because we've just stayed socially. She was like, we're always like playing bridge with friends, we're always like getting out and going and doing stuff. And she was like, I think it's just we're always keeping our minds moving and we're not just sitting at home watching TV like rotting.
Yeah, you need
our old mind
purpose.
away.
You have to have a purpose, something that makes you get up and keep going.
Got to be a shark, keep moving.
Yeah,
Gotta be sharp.
that's my absolute favorite thing about the Golden Bachelor is that reminder to people getting older that there's a lot to live for, but it comes to just deciding and getting up.
Yeah, I hope the show continues this kind of narrative of like being really wholesome and saccharine sweet. The Zip It thing was like a fun little aside, but I don't know if I want to see like these, Golden
Anything
Bachelors
further.
fighting. And
Yeah.
that's not, I don't think that's what the show, why everyone's resonating with it. It's just so hopeful,
Mhm.
So
Do
Yeah,
you
we don't
think
wanna
they
watch
can
Housewives.
maintain that level of nostalgia and have it still be interesting? Because I think this season was so unique that we all loved the nostalgia of it. But do you think after 3 or 4 seasons, if they keep going, they will be able to just lean on the sweetness and not bring in any more of the drama while keeping people's interest?
I think so. And I think that's what I've really loved about this show is it's proven that like you can have a really successful show without having to kind of go, evil,
Yeah.
or negative and stuff. So that's one thing I always say, like kind of before we start Paradise is like, what I like about Paradise is it opens as a comedy. Like you see like everyone's doing their silly intro bits. And so I'm always like, everyone don't take it so seriously. But if there's times where I'm like, I just want this to be like a fun, funny show. And when we get lost in the weeds of like the fighting and stuff, I'm like, I don't love that so much. I like the funny stuff and the heartfelt stuff. So I'm hoping that bleeds over into Paradise and stuff too. Because I think that people really, the world right now is so dark. Like the news, everything's just so like, oh God. It's nice that there's finally like a show where it's like, I just want to sit back and feel good,
Mhm.
Yeah, and the hour-long format helps so much, I think.
I agree.
With, because they're not trying to fill 2 hours and they can just focus on the love stories. Like you were saying earlier, the storytelling is in the stakes, and it's all stakes because these are lovable people who you really root for.
Do you think Paradise should be an hour?
I think that it should be airing in the summer. 100%. It's very weird for me that we're watching a show that's taking place on a beach in November.
Yeah.
Do you like it on Thursday nights?
I don't really care. I don't know. I mean, like the Tuesday, Thursday, they were both good night. I didn't love 2 hours Mondays and Tuesdays because I was on the show and I was like, this is a lot of television for me to consume every week, So if I was making the decisions, I'd be like, let's make sure that this is airing early in the year, so it's in the summer, and have it just be like 1 hour for a longer run instead of like 6 weeks of 4 hours every week.
Okay.
But they don't. They don't
They
ask
don't
me
listen
that
to me?
stuff.
Don't listen to you.
You'll enjoy this story. I was driving back to the studio last Friday,
Uh-huh.
and last night's episode of special forces is emotional, or we write these death letters of like, what would we say to our loved ones if we didn't make it? So all of us, we're all crying, right? And Fox sent me a clip of my death letter, and I'm reading it to Natalie, and I'm like, every time it's like, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to be there to raise her kid. I'm getting like teared up right now. And they sent me that clip as I was getting to the studio, and so like I press play and it's playing, and like I start crying.
Yeah,
I'm driving and I pull up, and Rob Mills is outside of our studio. I don't know where he was going.
Yeah,
I had some other meeting. I'm like, holy fuck, it's Rob. And like I pull over and I have like a tear.
Oh my God. And he's like, that was why you were our guy.
Coming down my face. I'm like, sorry, Rob, I was watching this video.
I love that.
It was kind of bizarre.
What did he say?
It was kind of we had been talking about getting together and meeting up. So I was like, yeah, we're going to get together. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm crying. I was just watching. I didn't know how to explain myself, but I'm like, I pull over and I'm like crying in the car, and Rob Mills is right there.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
for people that don't know, Rob Mills is head of unscripted at like
ABC.
Yeah.
He's basically in charge of ABC at this point, because all ABC is unscripted.
That's true.
Basically.
Yeah.
So anyway. Also, he's been on the show, friend of show. We have to get him back.
You had him on the show?
A few times. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if I think ABC might have.
Hey, let's not do that.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He's a very generous guest.
Yeah.
So anyway, Wells, thanks for coming.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Please plug away.
YFT podcast, your favorite thing I do with Brandy Cyrus. Right now we're having them come out on Friday so we can do a Bachelor in Paradise recap right after the show airs. And then I'm still doing my my food podcast called Two Dudes in the Kitchen with Tyler Florence from Food Network fame. And that's fun. And if you like, the holidays are coming up, so like if you need like Thanksgiving recipes and stuff, like that's a good podcast to go check out. We did this last episode. We talked about how you should really do your turkey for Thanksgiving, and he does not believe in oven roasting an entire turkey.
Does he deep fry it?
He believes in spatchcocking it, and he's
spatchcock.
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 Spatchcock. It's not what you think it is. Maybe it is, actually.
I don't even know.
So spatchcocking a turkey is you cut out the spine of it, and then you break the breastbone and you lay it flat, and so it can cook evenly and much faster. So you can, if you do a turkey in an oven, it's like 4 hours or whatever, long time, because it takes a long time for that heat to like kind of permeate the entire thing. But if you do it on a baking tray, spatchcocked, you can do it in like an hour and a half, and that also opens up so much real estate in your oven for other things. And he's like, everyone should be doing that at Thanksgiving. So that's like a good tip. So anyways, if you are into cooking, go listen to that.
I'm just wondering if we make this into a clip, if TikTok's going to flag it for all the times you said cock.
Yeah. That's what it's called.
Spatchcock.
Yeah.
Why? What's the origin? Words of the day, Wells.
I don't know actually that one.
Okay. All right.
The etymology.
The etymology, yeah, the origin. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. As always, don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com for all things texting, office hours, Ask Nick, mediation, all of the above. We are back this Thursday for an amazing episode of Going Deeper with the iconic duo of Allie and AJ. They are with us to go down memory lane of all those nostalgic memories of Allie and AJ. What's up with their lives? What's going on? What a fun and interesting and just lovely conversation with those two wonderful women. So be sure to check that out on Thursday. Also, if you haven't listened to the Lindsay episode, it is a wild one for all you Bravo Summer House fans. And even if you're not, it's a wonderfully compelling story. So go ahead and check that out. Also, an amazing episode of Ask Nick dropped yesterday. Once again, we are reminding people why situationships are not an acceptable relationship status. And when your gay best friend wants to marry you, what you can do about it. So good stuff all around. All right. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.